And we're back with the Vacuous perspective. I'm Val, joined as always by Nate, my man.
Val, welcome to the party.
Oh, partying.
I was partying.
Okay, what are we partying?
I was celebrating the girlfriend's runner-up, best and fairest in the reserve amateur AFL women's team.
That's fantastic.
That's right. So I've been celebrating hard all weekend.
You've been taking a bit of the victory.
Yeah, just co-opting that.
Just bathing in the victory.
Yeah. No, it feels good. It feels good to do very little and achieve a lot.
Yeah, amazing work. And that's decided by umpires or coaches or?
I think it's the coaches.
Okay.
Yeah, for this one, just the club one. But she only played 2/3 of the games.
Right. So polling well whenever she's out there.
Very strong polar, yes. Some even, who knows, maybe she was just best on in all her games. She could be like undefeated. She could be the black caviar.
Yes.
Of women's amateur football.
She plays a full season. She's taken home the medals.
That's what you think so.
That's what you think
so. Yeah. I'm saying that. It's funny because literally before the best and fairest event, she was saying that she didn't know if she would be playing next year. She was kind of umming and ahhing and probably leaning towards not playing.
Yeah.
Put that medal around her neck. Asked her later if she's playing next year.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
But you can't deprive the team of the runner-up best and fairest.
Yeah, that's true.
She's doing the right thing. It's funny. Like, it's funny how I remember when the Eagles won the 2016. Or 2018. How long ago was it now?
Okay, 2006, right?
Yeah.
2018, right?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so are you talking about the 06 grand final?
I was starting with the 18 and then I was going to work my way to the 06. Both of them.
Yeah.
I acted as if I had done something great.
Yeah. Not just something great, probably like Norm Smith medalist. Great.
I probably celebrated harder than a lot of the players did.
Oh, that's to an extent. That's what football's all about. To another point, stop it, right? The other side of it is stop it.
Well, it's about drinking beers and getting ladsy.
Yeah. If your team's in the grand final, it is different. Yeah.
It is. And they need the support as well. Like, you got to get excited.
They love it.
AFL needs supporters to be getting excited and they need to think that they're part of the team.
Well, they are. That's what the club would say. You know, the coaches would say that the fans are us kind of thing. They'll do that.
Well, they can't do without the fans. That's what they always say. They can do without the fans, which is actually true in some respects.
Yeah. Hey, what do you remember of the 06 grand final sort of moments? Where were you? What was the scene like when the siren went?
Bro, I remember it well.
I do too. It's bad.
Yeah. I'll tell you my story, and then you tell me where you were.
All I remember, and this is all I'll contribute, right?
Yes.
All I remember is the siren going and a couple of friends of ours taking tables.
Were you at the TAV?
I was at the UWA TAV, yeah.
I didn't even know. Oh, man, that's my memory of this.
Exactly. So I was there and the tables just got flipped. Well, not flipped, just pushed over. They're those high bar tables. They sort of sit at your chest height and they just pushed them over. And it had stuff on them. They were yelling and jumping and getting all excited. It was exciting.
I remember rolling around on a pool table with hugging one of my friends.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And yeah, it went off because they won by one solitary point.
And there's a bit of history with the previous grand final being decided by the same margin.
They'd lost to the same team the year before by 4 points.
Oh, by 4 points. Okay, yeah. And then
came up against them again the following year and managed to
Amazing.
get the slimmest of margins.
Yeah,
And the
I have two
slimmest,
memories of
yeah,
that day though.
yeah.
Two memories is that, well, our friend throwing the table down, and someone else did that as well. I don't know if maybe it was you,
I
and
think,
then you were outside, stealing shopping items off a bloke on a bike. That's what I
well,
remember.
no good victory in human history has ever not had dessert at the end.
Okay.
Every victory ends with a good dessert, and there was a couple of young gentlemen's riding past the UWA TAV,
Yeah.
and the way I remember it
Yes.
is I politely asked what he was in his shopping bags.
Yes.
He offered me his 1.25 litre custard
Yes.
on the condition
On the condition.
that I finish it in one go.
Wow, he laid down the gauntlet.
He laid down the challenge.
Why did he do that? Are you a custard guy? Do you like custard?
I love custard. Yeah,
if
I do
I
love
said
custard.
I've got a bowl of custard, would you like it? Would you say yes?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
I would.
so you like custard. Okay.
I do like custard.
So you accepted the challenge.
Accepted the challenge. I proceeded to neck said bottle of custard in one go.
Yeah.
But I also felt it necessary to immediately regurgitate it.
Yes.
But not because I needed to,
No.
because it's what the celebration deserved.
Okay. So you didn't vom just because the custard was all custody. You vommed because to finish the celebration? What was?
Well, it's a statement. It was a statement bit of art, you see. And sometimes you just have to. It's a bit like the rappers who make it rain with the dollar bills in the club.
Yeah. Okay. It's similar, is it?
See how they're just flaunting their wealth.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing,
Yeah.
is I'm ingesting a high calorie,
Yeah.
dense dessert. But then I don't even want it. I don't want it.
No.
I'm
Because
really- I'm
what do
rooting
they
for
always
everyone.
say? What do you do after dessert? Yak it up. You know, that's what we would have said back then.
Yeah, so I just put my fingers down my throat. It was called attack yak back in the days.
Attack yaks.
Yeah, and I just got it up, and yeah, that was the end of that. And
Oh.
they were pretty happy with my efforts. Actually, I think everyone was pretty happy.
Yeah. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
We're all pretty excited.
Everyone got very excited about it.
Yeah.
And then this is what happens when you're young and you not I wouldn't say peer pressure, but all your mates get really excited, and then it became a bit of my thing.
Yeah, it did. So how many times did we do so it's like your shoey, right?
It is my shoey. Yeah.
Your shoey was the custard shoey. Now, did a victory have to occur? Was the custard on the table at any point? If someone produced a custard in front of you, is it your obligation to consume it and regurgitate it, or was there a victory associated with the custody?
It was somewhat an obligation, but there was a victory. It was a bit of both. There was always a victory associated with it. It got a little bit ridiculous because next year, all that happened is the Eagles won a derby against Fremantle, and I can't remember if someone else produced the custard or I did. So I was just doing it for any regular victory. It wasn't. Well, maybe the derby is slightly elevated to a regular victory,
but sure, and it would have been more so back then.
Yes, and I was riding. They're the reigning premiers at the time, so I did it for just a derby. But then I stopped doing it because I think I don't know. It's not that enjoyable just to vomit up custard. But if you're going to vomit up anything, you want that velvety.
That's true.
Yeah, it's got a nice feel to it.
No one's ever given me the option of what to vom, which would be nice.
Yeah, if your custard goes down and then straight back up, it's still kind of like got that cold, that
It sounds like
soothing.
a dream vom.
Yeah, you don't want to be vomiting up like a kebab or like nachos or something.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay.
But then, so
Yeah.
everyone not forgot about it.
Yeah.
Certainly didn't forget about it. But
Okay.
then the Eagles they lost in 2015, and I was at the
Oh,
MCG.
so bad. So
Didn't
there was
have any
custard on
custard.
hand at the
No,
G.
there was no custard on hand.
Oh, there would have been
I don't know what we were going to do if they won. I probably was just going to go straight to Woolies
to finish the celebration.
to give the
Cap it off.
celebration
It's
it's just
just
desserts.
desserts.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so yeah, didn't have it for that. But then was watching 2018 at my friend's house,
Mm.
and I brought along the custard from memory, and it was in
Oh,
a little Eagles little esky, a tiny little esky,
cool
just
that.
one thing in there. There was ice and a 1.25 liter of custard. And then when they won,
Yeah.
I'd forgotten. I was, we're celebrating. We're just like, pretty excited because they did it a kick with a minute and a half left.
Yeah,
A ridiculous kick, bloody. I can't even remember his name. I'm that
Premiership
excited.
hero Dom Sheed. Yeah.
Sheed, Premiership hero Dom Sheed.
Yeah.
And what a moment, right? What a moment! And I never thought they were in that game.
It was a very, very hard game.
There was a couple of reasons I never let myself believe, right? Until the custard.
You know what's funny? People have watched
Yeah.
the last 2 minutes of that game a lot. Eagles fans, especially.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
Okay. So the rest of the game, it's like we don't care about it. It was too traumatic. No. I like it now.
Oh, yes.
But in the moment, traumatic, right? So that's why all that's etched into us from that grand final is the Dom Sheed kick, that beautiful passage of play, started with Gov, ended with Sheed's kick. That's all we remember from the grand final. The rest is too hard.
No, I remember some things. Let me lay just a bit of a foundation for how ridiculous it was and my mental state during the game. Because you have to prepare yourself for a loss in a grand final. Like mentally, if it's going to happen, you kind of want to let it go. So
15 was really bad. So
15 was bad. So they were down 5-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Just before the end of the first quarter. And everyone was saying they just need to get on the board because that's the hardest part is just getting on the board. Otherwise, people start to get all weird about it. And then
they are getting weird about it already, but it gets weirder.
It gets weirder. The longer it goes, the weirder it gets. And we said, even the commentators said they just need to they just need to get lucky. I don't know if the commentators said that or we'll just say they just need something to happen right now. To win a game, you need a bit of luck. It's not all skill. You need
some of the most vacuous commentary I've ever heard. They need something to happen now. It's a bit like the perfect beer for whatever happens.
Bud Light. They needed a Bud Light moment, and they got it. I think it was Rioli or Flying Ryan. One of the two got quite an unlikely goal on the goal line. Bit of a soccer, kind of a messy situation, soccer through.
I think it was Rioli.
I think it was. He's gone. Did you hear he got traded?
I didn't. Is that fresh?
He asked for a trade. Yeah, he's gone to Port. It was only yesterday. The biggest trade in AFL history he was a part of.
Wow.
4 clubs, 18 picks, some like ridiculous thing, like 6 players.
It was like a last-minute thing in the trade period?
I think the trade period is still going. Let's circle back on that because I don't know the details. So I can give you a super vacuous perspective, but we'll circle back on that in a moment. So down by 5 goals, one of them blokes get a sneaky goal, and then we get another goal right before quarter time.
That is important. Yeah.
Because it's now just 5 goals to 2. It's like you can work your way back in this. A minute ago, you were like, the game was over, and now you just got a sniff.
Excellent.
So then they spend the next 2 quarters working their way in. They're actually playing better footy. Collingwood kicking some goal. Collingwood kicking some goals. For some reason, I thought it was Hawthorn again. The Eagles, they're working their way back in, and you feel like they're actually playing better, getting on top. You're like, man, you're like, they're doing it. You're starting to believe a bit. And then the fourth quarter starts and it's scores are level, or maybe there's one point in it.
They're going goal for goal, right? The whole quarter.
Well, no, the very beginning of the fourth quarter, firstly, the bloke you don't want kicking one, Jordan De Goey, gets off the leash and kicks a ripper, just like in the first 20
Yeah.
seconds of the third quarter. And then they pile on another one immediately after.
No, it's brutal.
That's brutal because now you've a 2-goal deficit. Some people would say you get to 3/4 time in the grand final, you got 2 goals, you kind of like,
Lock it up.
lock it up.
Yeah.
Almost. I know it's not anyone's game, but you start anyway. All of a sudden, you go from you believing that the scores are level, they've worked their way back into it. All of a sudden, they're 2 goals down and they're celebrating hard. The Collingwood scum, that they're faithful,
Yep.
whipping their panties off, flicking around their heads, and you're starting to get worried again. And then you start believing because they get a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Then they're within a goal, and there's maybe 4 or 5 minutes left. I don't know when they get to that point, but and then you're like, we can do it. We just need a goal. And then as the minutes go by, you're still saying, shit, we still need a goal.
Mm.
And then you start thinking it's not going to happen because there's a minute and a half left and the ball is down the wrong side of the ground.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then McGovern
Takes the mark.
leaves his man. I think it was DeGoey, the most dangerous man on the ground, leaves his player, takes the intercept mark that he's been doing all year with the banged up ribs.
Yeah.
Wasn't almost supposed not to be playing.
I think they said that everyone involved in that score at this point from now onwards in this position in this play shouldn't have been on the ground at the time.
That's right. They were trying to pull them all. And the ball was stuck on the opposite side of the ground. They couldn't get them off. And then fucking McGovern snipes Vardy.
Yeah.
Vardy plays on pretty quick because he knows that we just need, we need this goal. We can't just, this is the moment. Flying Ryan takes a spectacular mark back with the flight. Unbelievable mark.
It's a great grab.
And then somehow Sheed's just hiding in the pocket there by himself, playing with himself, digging worms or something.
He was not.
And the rest is history.
Well, no, the rest is not history. He did it says here.
I'm back.
He did a drop punt.
Wait.
From what people now call the Dom Sheed pocket.
I love it, particularly in grand finals at the MCG.
Amazing.
Yeah. There's a YouTube video called something along the lines of "Don't Stop Believing" or something like that.
Yeah, I've watched it a million times.
It's 20
along
minutes.
with the other ones.
Yeah, I've watched some of the other
amazing.
ones. Yeah, it is amazing. It's so good. Yeah. It's so good. It's the
really well made
moment of all time.
Incredible. Like I said, all of the post-game media is better than the game. The one where because AFL had organised to mic up both coaches for the game. And they have that video on YouTube where it's the coaches' comments throughout the day. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think I have seen that. I might have to watch that.
It's amazing. And then there's another one where I think ECU must have, because I don't know if they're involved with sponsorship with the West Coast Eagles, but they made a 10-episode sort of web series about that season. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, 2018. Oh, no, I saw the one, the COVID one.
No, 2018.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. So there's a lot of good media outside of the actual game, but still an amazing game.
A lot of content. Okay, I'm just seeing if I find this mic'd up coaches one. Yeah, okay. No, 2019. Anyway, let's do that later. Yeah, cool. Hey, so this trade.
Okay, so what do we know?
Okay, what we know, I'll tell you the vacuous perspective. My knowledge of this comes from glancing at the back of a paper.
Okay, we're glancing.
Yeah, and so that's how I know there was a little thing that said technically it's the biggest trade. And I think I watched the first minute of a YouTube thing about it.
Oh, you think you did? Here we
well,
go.
It was. I don't know. I didn't watch the whole thing. I wasn't really. I knew it was. They didn't. Anyway, so the back of the paper said biggest. Technically, it's the biggest trade in AFL history because
it said technically it's the biggest
because it's on this metric because I don't know what metric they on number of players and number of teams involved. So there's 4 teams.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you off the top of my head. I think GWS are involved. I think Kangaroos, definitely involved. Port, definitely involved.
West Coast must
And
be
West
involved.
Coast, yeah. I know from West Coast perspective, I think they gave up pick 2 and they get picks like 8 and 12 or something, and they get a future second round pick, I think, as well. But anyway, the key things, who cares about the picks and stuff? There's a shitload of picks flying around between these teams, just all flying around. Fucking Horn Francis, the number 1 pick from last year, has gone from North to Port Adelaide. Junior Rioli, I'm not sure. Why is he called? Why is he not Willie Rioli anymore? It's something to do with his Aboriginal heritage.
I'm not sure. I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, well, he's not. He's Junior Rioli now, and I think it's something to do with. I think his dad may have died, and I think you become junior or something. I don't really know. I've never heard of this before.
Interesting.
So that's my understanding anyway. But very vacuous. So Junior Rioli has also gone to Port. Port had to give up not too much to get the number 1 pick from last year, who is looking the goods, and a excellent forward. He didn't really get that much, and I think GWS got something. So there's a few more players, picks involved.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if it's worth looking up. Maybe not.
Well, they talk about the big trades and stuff. If it's the biggest trade, it's just involving most clubs.
Yeah, most clubs. So it's not. I don't really think it's not. Look, it's not the Judd trade.
No, but no, it's all good.
Oh, so North tried to. Oh no, Port tried to give away all their picks as part of the deal, because they're going for the premiership next year. They don't want. And the AFL looked into the deal, because the AFL has to sign off on the trade saying it's allowed, and they knocked it back. They said you can't just give away all your picks.
Why?
Because I don't know. It's not in like the spirit of the game. I don't know. Maybe there's a rule.
Spirit.
So they knocked it back, and so what they did is they gave away some future picks, and so they didn't weigh all their picks this year. I think they traded to get some picks as well, and they
such an odd thing.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Yeah, so that's that.
Something that didn't happen today, but it happened on today many years ago. Something you might be interested in.
Yeah,
bit of history
on today. Yes.
Yeah, a bit of history. 1968. Okay. Apollo 7, the first manned mission of the Apollo program, was launched today. Okay. It was also the first 3-manned space mission. Up until then, they must have been sending up only 2, I guess, or 1.
I thought, yeah, okay.
So what I'm trying to think, what I'm getting at with this, man, is Apollo 7 it took to get the first manned mission of NASA's Apollo program.
So this is like WD-40. This is attempts, right?
Yeah, that's all of them. They got up to what, Apollo, I don't know, 15 or something, 16? I don't remember. But I looked into that. I was like, that's the first manned mission? So I was like, I wonder what was Apollo 1's mission, what was Apollo 2's mission, all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, was there a monkey?
Apollo 1 was pretty bad, actually. They were doing a test, I think, while on Earth, and they had a problem in their, in their spacecraft, in the command module, oxygen problems. They got a fire. They all burnt.
Wait. So this wasn't a manned mission?
Yeah, there was people in there.
Why are they sending people in Apollo 1?
What do you mean? They're not going anywhere, right?
Oh.
At this point, they weren't even going anywhere.
But, with Artemis 1, not sending any people.
Well, they didn't send people on Apollo 2, obviously, I guess.
Right, so they realised the error of their ways. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you can actually, if you go to the Wikipedia page, you can actually listen to the recording of them talking about, to Command Central.
Before they burnt?
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Well,
But they talk it's very interesting because it starts with one of the guys on board saying, how are we going to get to the moon? I think his quote is, how are we going to get to the moon if we can't talk between 2 or 3 buildings? So they're having comms issues back to the
fascinating.
building next to them, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it starts. That's how the audio recording starts. How are we going to get to the moon if we can't talk between 2 or 3 buildings?
Good call. Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Fascinating. Well, they sorted that out pretty quick, didn't they?
Yeah, I didn't look into it any further, so I don't really know what Apollo 2 was or did. I'm still kind of confused on even Apollo 1, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
So wait, on this
fascinating.
day, so you said on this day was Apollo 7, right?
Apollo 7's launch, which was the first manned crewed mission of the Apollo program. Okay, not of the space program, I guess, but just of the Apollo program. 69, I think it was.
Yeah, okay, because Apollo 1, February
65.
February 67, I've got here.
68. Yeah, Apollo 7.
Oh, Apollo 1, sorry.
Okay.
I was just curious. Yeah, but okay. So what about any other interesting Apollos?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what was Apollo 2? What was his jam?
What we need is
Who did it work for?
Apollo highlights.
I can't. I don't think there was an Apollo 2. I'm so confused.
Oh, maybe it was like a bad number. They just skipped it, or maybe they just went straight. They thought, look, we know, Apollo 13 is the one, so we just have to get to that as quickly as possible.
Okay, so yeah, interesting. Apollo 4, Apollo 6, Apollo 5, Apollo 7. So unmanned flights of launch vehicles and the CSM to demonstrate the adequacy. Fun fact about the Apollo 7 launch.
Oh, give me a fun fact, please.
Is that there was a wind coming from the east, and this is Cape Canaveral, I think they call it. There's this wind blowing from the east, and according to like the safety procedures, they're not allowed to launch rockets when it's blowing east, right? And the reason is because the rockets, after they've if there's a problem, if there's an issue, then the debris could fly back to land and cities and stuff. So it's a problem. Whereas like if it's blowing west, I guess it's a guaranteed splashdown.
Yes.
So they launched anyway. Pretty amazing.
Confidence.
Anyway,
I just
realized that they smashed it.
Somehow. I just realized that I alluded to Apollo 13 being the successful one. When on review now, I see it was Apollo 11, which resonates a lot more.
Apollo 11, which was Neil Armstrong.
Yep, and man
Buzzy,
and my man Buzz. Hey, I love the number 11. It's my favorite number. I think 28 is my lucky number, but 11 is my favorite number. And the reason being is what I like about it is you got 1 to 10. They're a bit boring. They're a bit common.
As a favorite number?
Yeah. They're just single. Anyway, then 12 is a derivative of 2. 13, derivative of 3. 14, 15, 7 going, 16, 17, 7 going. And then you don't have 1 teen, it's 11. It's got its own thing going on.
Then
when you get to 41, you don't say 30, 11.
No, you don't. How come 11 gets this special treatment?
Gets a lot of special treatment. I like it. I don't know where it's come from. I like what they did with it.
But even 10's a good number.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Well, think about this. 20, 30, 40, 50, 6T, 7T, 80, 10. But also, if someone asks me what my favorite number from now on is, I'm going to say it's the number 1.
That's a good one. It's a good place to start.
Yeah. I like the number 1.
Any reason? Got
No. I just figured that most people's minimum favorite number is going to be above 2.
I've never heard anyone say their favorite number's 1, so yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think, well, can you give them a decimal? Like, can you have like,
Yeah, put a decimal in there.
1.5?
1.6.
1.6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they say what? And you're like, man, if you wanted an integer, why didn't you just ask for one?
Yeah.
Do you know what gives me the absolute driving me insane? Is it's what do you call the spikes on a fork?
I don't know, like prongs.
Bent prongs.
Bent prongs. What are you talking about?
Bent prongs. Like, have you ever so I'm at work, you pick up a fork out of the drawer and it's got like a slightly off center prong.
Who's been bending the prongs?
Well, what are they eating? What are they eating that you're bending prongs? Are you eating rocks? Shoes? Are you knife and forking your shoe?
No, that's 100% human intervention. That's people bending those.
What, just to trigger me?
Yeah.
Because it gets my OCD going.
Do you bend them back?
Well, you try, but it's so hard because you can't get leverage on them. Their other prongs are in the way. But it's not just at work. I was at Bistro Galimi, whatever the fuck it is, and I had a bent prong on the thing. And
No, they didn't.
They did 100%.
Okay, they did.
And I was like looking at this, I was like, man, are you serious? Like, is anyone?
Did you get a new fork?
I'm not going to ask someone. I feel like a
Come
wanker
on,
being
man.
like,
Get a new fork, bro. It's bent.
No, it was rubbish.
Or are these bent forks following you around?
I'm someone.
What's going on?
I don't know. I was getting trolled. I couldn't believe I got one there. But I just don't understand. I've never bent a prong in my life. Eating food. I don't.
For fun.
Or maybe when I was younger, but when I was really young. But
okay, so when you were young, and you found out that if you like rubbed a spoon or fork hard enough, you can manipulate it and bend it. Do you ever do that?
What are you talking about?
You can bend forks and spoons and stuff with heat,
with
friction,
warm up.
with friction.
I never.
You sort of, the cash money sort of finger to thumb action.
Oh yes.
You're doing like the money.
Yeah.
You're doing that to the back of the fork, and it won't take long, and you'll just bend it.
Really, I didn't know that.
As soon as we found out we could do that, as kids, we went and did that to forks.
I had no idea that people do that to cutlery. I know you generate heat, but I didn't think you'd generate enough to generate any heat.
It would depend on what the fork's made out of, surely.
What do you got, like tin knives and forks or something?
I guess so. It wouldn't have been like stainless steel.
You don't have silver cutlery at your house? I think silver actually bends really easy. That's probably a bad example. But that's just absolutely like sending me a little bit wild. There's just too many bent forks. But I just don't understand. Are they eating Skittles? Like how they?
I don't know what they're bending. Are you talking about the prongs being like bent just from the center?
Yeah. Like basically off. Like they've, it's not just the end. It's not like the last centimeter is. It's the whole thing is like kind of like a bit off. Skew-if.
Look, if you're out there and you're bending forks in the workplace or anywhere,
just stop.
Just stop it. Just stop it.
I've had it up to here.
All right, we've had enough of it. Okay, and I've had enough of something else.
Yeah, gutful.
To be honest, I've had a gutful of something.
Tell me what you've had a gutful of. I told you mine.
Oh, first of all, I'm going to ask you if you do this. So I'm going to make sure that I'm not just throwing you to the wolves a bit. I mean, you're in a toilet at work, I guess. There's multiple stalls
Mhm.
to shit in.
I'm with you.
And look, I don't mind where you sit. It's fine.
Don't sit next to me.
You can sit. You can sit wherever you want, right? And I'll tolerate all of the noises that come with being in a toilet. I'll tolerate all the regular stuff. You know,
Grunting,
the
heaving,
farts. Yeah,
sweating, the sound of sweating.
no, not too much. Right? I'm not like fully into it. The ploppage, all the rest, right?
Masturbation.
No, but what I'm not okay with is watching like YouTube videos at full volume
Oh, what?
on your telephone device, right?
No, who's doing that?
I don't know.
I wouldn't even want someone looking over my shoulder. Even like that's actually really creepy in the
What?
toilet.
Someone looking over your
Looking over
shoulder?
my
No one's gonna
shoulder.
be looking over your shoulder.
No. But no, as in, I don't
Oh,
like. I don't even want someone like.
as in. Oh, what are you
I don't
watching?
even want someone
Can I
like.
get
Yeah,
involved in that?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
whatever they're watching is going to be weird to me.
Just wanted to knock and be like, put your headphones in, please.
Well, it's as bad as people listening to music or watching YouTube with no headphones in on the bus.
It's bad, isn't it?
That's real bad. That's a faux pas.
That's a boombox.
It's obnoxious. But they all
Yeah.
think their music's the coolest.
I think my music's the coolest too.
They think that they're entitled. Everyone thinks their music's the coolest.
Yeah.
It's we're self-centered pricks.
Yeah.
And that's just what you know. So that's what you like. You listen. It's like you listen to it, that type of music, because you like it.
Correct.
So you like it. Good for you, right?
Must be good for everyone.
No,
Whoa, it must be.
not must.
Well, then they're wrong.
They might be able to be influenced if you ask them nicely. You might be able to warm them up to your, ghetto beats that you listen to.
Sure.
You might start with just like, a less ghetto beat, and then big bass ghetto beat. You don't even really like ghetto beats. You're more of a sort of guitar. You're a bit more of an experimental rock man.
Sure, but obviously whatever. I'm not the guy on the train with the phone on max vol.
Even if I liked their music, I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to listen to it through their phone. I'm doing my own shit.
It's okay, because most of those people on the train who are listening to things on their mobile phone at max volume without headphones, they're gonna figure that out. They're gonna work it out, and they'll be okay.
Yeah, you work it out sooner rather than later. I'm saying.
You got to make mistakes.
Hey, I was talking to a guy at a Bucks party on the weekend, and it was a very, very tame Bucks party, actually. So I was 3 kombuchas deep at this time, and he had just come from another Bucks, actually. So he was double bucksing, if that's a thing.
Yeah.
Which is I've never heard of that. But anyway, he's double bucksing. Turns up at this one. He was telling me at this first bucks, he was talking to some worker bloke who I don't know if he works for Multiplex or just a construction dude, but so this is all secondhand. He was talking to this guy, and this guy relayed the conversation to me. He says that Multiplex have just finished the COVID, the $600 million COVID quarantine facility in Bullsbrook.
Yes.
What the fuck are we going to do with that?
Open it.
And put all those quarantining individuals in there, all those sick puppies.
Yeah. I don't know what it's going to get used for.
I hope they had a backup plan. They should have made it so you could also host.
Surely.
You could take down all the walls. So you make them like not disposable walls, temporary walls. So you can take them all down. So you just have a big ring, and maybe we could have had Perth's first rodeo in there.
Right.
It's
Well, it would
called.
have. Yeah. Get a rodeo in there.
I'm just saying, you need to think about these things. Like you need a backup
Circus.
plan. It's called the National. Oh no, the Center for National
Okay.
Resilience.
The Center for National Resilience. That's what it's called?
Yeah, apparently. Sounds that I quite like the name actually. The Center for National Resilience sounds pretty hardcore.
Wow.
I
We've
just
got a center for that now.
yeah, we do
Wow.
need a bit more resilience. Just
I
pop
hadn't
up there.
noticed it. I'd been feeling just regular resilient lately, but
Pop into the center,
maybe
pick
that's
yourself up a bit more.
no, maybe it's just my mindset because I didn't know that we had a center for it.
See now that you know,
Now that I know, I
you'll be
already
much
feel it. I
much
already
better
feel
for
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but didn't they just take away the quarantining? Do we even have to quarantine now? What are the rules?
What are the rules? The rules. It depends on because my workplace can put in rules on top of rules. And so whatever the government's restrictions are, they can impose further things to that. So I don't know if this is the current government's point of view, but it'd be like 5 days, right? Or have they removed the isolation requirement
I don't know.
entirely?
I mean, I think it's just the right thing to do.
No, you definitely aren't allowed out. You're not allowed to go infect people with COVID still.
It's a bit of a
You're still not
HIV,
allowed to do that.
HIV sort of situation going on. Bit of an AIDS.
Apparently, it's the same with measles.
What you have to
Isolate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that measles do sound quite dangerous.
Yeah.
But I read something about this Center for National Resilience.
Yes.
They put it on this contaminated RAF base. Says this article is saying that the new spot is near the contaminated RAF base Pierce in Perth's outer northeast, but Bullsbrook, I don't think that's the same place. Anyway, it says that there the groundwater can't be used due to chemical contamination.
Is this firefighting stuff again?
I need to know where it is. It's not firefighting stuff. Why do you say firefighting stuff?
That's what contaminated the other one. Well, which is, I think, is the same one.
Oh, really?
Honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do they do? What did the firefighters do?
I think it's it's not firefighters. It's this is my vacuous understanding. It would be firefighting materials because when you're training in the army stuff, you're probably blowing some stuff up, right? I don't know.
Very quickly, it says you're offline.
No, I'm fine.
You're fine. That's good. But my point is, apparently, Aaron Brockovich visited Bullsbrook.
Yes.
And talked to the locals, and they were weighing up action against the Australian Defence Force.
Sure.
Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah.
Also
Julia
known
Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
I'm sure they were upset when Aaron Brockovich turned up, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, they would have much preferred Julia Roberts.
I don't remember anything about that movie, but
well, it was contaminated water and stuff, making people sick in America. Mining company, Aaron Brockovich / what's her name?
Julia
Roberts. Take down the big companies. You know, it's one of those movies.
Classics.
It's not my favorite Julia Roberts movie.
Yeah, what is?
I would say Hook.
Oh.
Or maybe Ocean's 11.
I liked Ocean's 11.
Yeah, the reboot.
The problem I have is it's almost like your memories, when you look back on movies or any memory for that matter, it's just a collection of still frames and a general vibe.
Sure. Okay, going with vibe.
Like there's not a lot of meat to it. There's not a lot of I can't relive the movie.
Do you rewatch movies you've already seen a lot?
Not a lot. Actually, no.
You,
Very
you
rarely.
never rewatch stuff. You
No,
rewatch some TV series though?
rarely. And mainly only if the girlfriend hasn't seen them and I think they're
Yeah.
good.
And you're ready for a rewatch,
I'm
right?
ready for a rewatch, but I don't know if I could.
See,
I'll probably watch something new.
I'll reanalyze every 10 years or so. I want to make sure that that's good. If I say it's good,
But
know what I mean?
But then every 10 years, you're sort of doubling how much you're watching TV.
No, because not everything gets a rewatch. Some things I think about and I go, I'm ready for another rewatch of The Wire. I'm ready for another rewatch of Oz. But what I wouldn't say is I'm not ready for a rewatch of The West Wing because it's too long. Right? It can't be super long. It's brutal.
I'm going for one watch.
Of The West Wing?
Yeah.
It took me years, man.
To finish it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're 24 episode series, some of them.
Wow.
An hour long.
Okay, it's a beast. It's an absolute
beast. It's a beast.
How many ideas did Eric Sorensen, is that his name?
Aaron, I think.
Aaron. How many ideas does he have going rattling around in that noggin of his?
I think he's still, very active.
How do you generate that much content? Like, he's like...
I think they relied heavily on advisors who would be able to tell you, hey, here's what would happen in the White House. It's so gnarly, that show. Wait, what did we say his name was?
Aaron? Well, I said Eric.
Yeah, and then what did you say his surname was?
Sorensen?
I think is it Sorkin? Aaron Sorkin.
No,
you were close.
Eric Sorensen.
You were close.
Eric, I was just happy.
The West Wing, The Newsroom. Did you ever watch The Newsroom?
I think I only watched one episode.
It's really good.
I've heard it's very good.
Yeah. It doesn't go for very long, though. They didn't do enough with it. There's 25 episodes total, but it's nice because they pick it up if the newsroom was responding to, hey, this event in the world, they would do an episode about it.
Really? But was there much lag between their episode and the real world event? I assume there'll be a lot of lag.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
That's what's fantastic about South Park.
They're the best. They're the best.
And they churn it out within a week. So if they're shooting, they have an idea on the Monday morning.
They got to write Monday.
They start writing. They just get together, start banging it out. By Thursday, they're flicking the ideas to the art crew and
not Thursday, man. Not Thursday.
Probably earlier. I don't know.
Literally on the Monday, the artists are working.
You're right. They would.
They're getting constant note sheets that are straight out of the writer's room. Here, build this, do this. It's a fucking hectic work environment.
They wouldn't wait till Thursday, would they? They'd be straight onto it.
They're going hard or the whole time. It's an amazing thing.
It's an amazing thing. And what's it called? That little documentary?
6 days to air.
6 days to air.
Yeah, it's fascinating because they have to get things put through the censors while they're still doing the show, right? They're still doing the recording.
The network, right?
Yeah, the lawyers are on the phone to the ratings people, and they're talking about, because it's the episode The Human Centipede, where they copy the human centipede, and it's people shitting into each other's mouths in a big circle, right?
Yeah.
And she's trying to explain to them that all you see is, you don't see the shit. No, you don't see, she's trying to massage this through the sensors,
Yeah, okay. So they don't, they can actually air the episode.
And then they have to take the tape, to the studio and put it in. And they go, there it is. And there, it might be an hour or 2 hours. It's amazing.
It's incredible, but
then they take a break.
It's for till Monday morning.
Yeah, but they do a whole season. It's like a like a fight camp. You'd be there for 3 months.
Say it's 10 episodes, 10 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
How exhausting!
Oh, it's brutal.
It would be so exhausting because all that time because it looks like they're up till ridiculous hours of the night. They're stressed. They're just working not 20-hour days, but, as many hours you can possibly work. But they still have to stay on top of some news and things like that are happening in the world because they need content to write their next episode.
It's true. You would think they've got a couple of bullets in the chamber if they come up short one week. They're like, nothing's happening. What are we going to do?
Okay, and they're like, I've got this one about, Mormons or...
And nowadays they've got over like series arcs. They'll have a series arc, which is pretty rare for them. It used to be just one shots, right? They go, here's an idea. We finish it up like an episode of Power Rangers at the end. And Kyle says at the end, I think I learned something today. And then he tells us the moral of the episode.
That's right.
Nowadays they're doing full series arcs where they're telling one story across a full series.
I just mentioned Mormons before.
Yes.
Have you heard of soaking?
Soaking. Like in a bath?
I don't even know if this is true. I don't understand what Mormons can and can't do. But they're not, I don't know, it's something to do with sex. I don't know.
Right.
But if they just lie there with their dick in someone, presumably, and someone else jumps up and down on the bed.
No.
Apparently it's legit.
No.
This is an ABC
I can't
article.
believe that's how you started that. You're like, if you did and someone else is there jumping on the bed and they say, and then you went, apparently it's legit.
Okay, so this is an ABC News article on Triple J.
Okay.
Soaking is basically penetrative sex without the movement and hip thrusting. Here's how it works. Right? It's just sex, right? But
yeah, it's just a very weird brand of sex.
Very weird. Here's how it works. You've got a couple. The guy inserts his penis into the vagina and just lies there.
Okay.
I would have thought
this is what we talked about ages ago.
I would have thought that was sex just there. The dick's in the vagina. That's the whole. That's, But he does sweet FA, letting his dick, in inverted commas, soak.
This is in the ABC article, sweet FA.
Yeah. It's a Triple J article. Letting his dick soak.
Yeah.
Did that just change your definitions forever? It says in brackets. That was the last time you let your dishes soak without thinking of horny Mormon teens lying awkwardly on top of each other.
Oh, it's lovely. Okay.
It's basically a way to get around premarital sex, something that's considered sinful.
You're
within
not
the
getting
Mormon
around
religion.
it.
This is not, whoever taught them this loophole, this is not getting around it. God is their Mormon God, I think just regular God, right? Regular Christian God, is not looking upon this situation and saying,
they've really put some effort in here. Good on them for getting another person involved to jump on the bed. That is brilliant.
Yeah, they're not saying, he's not thinking, no,
that's
you have
genius.
Yeah.
He's going, that is brilliant. No one does that.
I've been waiting for someone to figure this out.
Are you just not doing anything? And then, the bed's brown. That's really clever. You guys. All good.
Yeah, so this ex-Mormon bloke says that if Mormons have sex before marriage, they won't get to experience the full glory of the afterlife party with God.
Right, you miss out on the party.
You got to be there for the party. So this is, and you'll
it's
probably
a pretty good reason.
Look, I mean, if I need to soak to have the afterlife party, I'm actually getting on board right now. Basically, it's a loophole for Mormons to satisfy their sex needs without sin.
They're having sex though.
I know. It's who made this?
If you said you just lie down, you both lie down on opposite ends of the bed, and you just sort of like jerk off. Don't worry, God's cool with that, right? But for someone to go, no, it's fine. You just get on her, right? And someone else bounces the bed. It's totally fine.
So I'm trying to think of someone that's come up with a really bad idea. And it's just like an idiot telling you this idea and you just getting on board with it being like, oh, yeah, really? Oh, great. Oh, well, this is fantastic. Yeah, so enter jump humping, the Mormon threesome that's gone viral on TikTok.
Why is it going viral on TikTok, bro? How is it going viral on TikTok? What is going on?
Maybe
Is
it's a
this bullshit?
hashtag soaking. That's where a friend or whoever you can get, maybe a stranger walking down your dorm hallway.
Yeah, stranger. It's a great place to start.
What are you going to do? Ask them to come in and jump on the bed? Okay.
Hey, man, how's it going? Oh, hey, yeah, good. We're both Mormons. That's very nice. Did you want to come to our dorm with us real quick?
There's probably someone that
Do you need me to bounce on the
their
bed?
fetish is jumping on the.
Yeah, absolutely. They're match made in heaven.
Jesus, how is the discipline on the presumably 16-year-old bloke that's got his dick in this girl, the bed's jumping around and, he's just he's just holding himself back, just like, no.
What do you mean?
He's not allowed to thrust, or he gets no afterlife.
He's no
party.
thrustage. No, he's no thrustage. Otherwise, he misses out on the party. I don't know why he'd risk it. I don't know why he'd even soak. I think he'd just to miss out on this party is. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? How do you trust yourself not to just give one pumpy and miss out on the party over one pumpy? And for the rest of your relationship before marriage with this lady, you'll be just giving the no pumpies when you could have already been discounted from going to the party anyway, so you might as well just pumped, man. So I'm concerned.
What is actually more concerning is this. It goes further because this Mark guy makes a very good point. It's kind of like what we're saying. So Mark is the ex-Mormon that apparently they're talking about.
What'd he say?
The quote: "The consequences." He says, "Okay, there's incredibly strict guidelines and rules if you have sex before marriage in the Mormon religion." And then in quotes here it says, "The consequences are that you won't be able to experience the ideal spiritual afterlife."
The ideal one. So you get a different one?
Well, you want the best, and you don't get the best if you pump. And so I think there's this real element of shame and fear of consequence that comes with breaking the rules. As I said, can you imagine being a young bloke? Yeah. You're terrified because you believe in this shit. If you've got to the point of soaking, and your mate jumping on the bed, you're all in with your belief structure at this point.
And you're shitting yourself. Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's true. But you're still trying to get this loophole. You're still trying to figure out this loophole, but you should be terrified.
All your animal desires are like telling you to pump.
Yeah, no pumping though.
No pumping, or you're not getting the ideal spiritual afterlife.
Okay. It's heavy consequences, man.
Heavy consequences, man. What a terrifying. This would do psychological damage.
Just don't pump, man. It's easy.
So can you be, what's this? He would know what it was like being a young gay Mormon. So can you butt sex soak? I don't know. Within the Mormon church, being gay or queer is condemned.
Yeah.
But so is sex. Yeah, this is there's
they're
shit
not
rules.
Having
there's
sex,
shit
bro.
rules.
They're not having sex, bro. They're soaking. It's fine.
Queerness.
I've come around on the idea. It's fine.
Come around, right? Yeah. Queerness and things like masturbation, things like porn and all that stuff were so demonized within this space and within this environment. And that can have some really harmful effects on a person. That can have some really, really damaging effects. So is no sex before marriage. So is soaking. This sounds, I'm actually traumatized for them. What a weird, and it's hard enough. It's hard enough. Like the first time you have sex, you're feeling a little bit of pressure, right? Because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
No, man. Everyone's first time was roughly the same. You got your friend or something to come on in, and you just sort of lay there on top of them, and they sort of would bounce on the bed but no pumping.
Oh yeah,
and everyone's having a great time.
Everyone was doing it. Maybe in swap over, right? When one person jumps on the bed, for a bit, the other one soaks. Beam. and then you sort of tag in, because you can't just have all the lying down to yourself when one person's jumping up and down doing all the work.
So that was everyone's first experience, I'm pretty sure.
What an experience.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrifying experience, really.
Yeah.
And the implications.
What's the implication? Oh,
well, the implications are, you botch this, it's no parties.
Yeah, that is serious. I did a a relay marathon. On another note, did a relay marathon with the girlfriend on the weekend.
Yeah? What's a relay marathon? Is it a halfie? What is that?
Yeah, we both do a half.
Yeah.
So I did the first half. Girlfriend did the second half.
Yeah.
And we're not Kipchoge.
No.
So he did, I think we figured out he did around 3 minutes a kilometre.
Yep.
I think a bit faster than that. But let's not go into the math of it again. And we wanted to do a marathon at 5 minute kilometres, which would mean a 3 hour, 30-minute marathon.
Yep.
We did it 3 hours, 30 minutes.
Oh.
Bang on.
So you just know the pace that you can keep, or what's the deal?
Complete luck. Like I did my half in 140.
Yep.
And a bit and some change. And she did her half in 148 and some change.
Amazing.
And then there was a changeover as well. So I think that took us right. So she was cooked at the end. It was getting a bit hot and she'd gone out a bit fast. So she was blowing up and she knew time was expiring. So she was feeling the pressure.
Wow. What a gun.
Yeah, she came through again, right? So
dude,
runner-up best and fairest. She's kicking goals in the marathon.
So she's a midfielder?
Yeah. It made me think, I doubt I've told you this before. It's fascinating, right? Because Kipchoge is let me just verify exactly where he's from because, Kenyan long distance runner. I just wanted to make sure that he was from Kenya and not somewhere else because
fair call.
There's this, it's fascinating. Around in the 50s or so, there was some famous, around that, I'm butchering it, but around that time, there was some famous Kenyan marathon runner that did something in running and everyone wanted to be him. So he created a bit of a culture shift.
Mm.
Before that, the Kenyans didn't always win all the long races.
Yeah, they were inspired by.
And
it contributed to the
definitely.
If it contributes to the amount of people running, it's going to increase the talent. It's going to get better over years and years. Yep,
precisely. And like what's so interesting is not all Kenya's pretty big place, and pretty much all the amazing Kenyan runners have come. And when I say pretty much all, I don't have the stats, but apparently have come out of one very small part of Kenya. And it's not just like lots of, there's very similar, there's genetic factors as to why Kenyans are so good at running. One of them being, I'm not an expert on this, but one of them being, firstly, their body shape. It's very lean. But one of the huge factors is they've got very narrow ankles. And you can't have a lot of weight far away on the end of your limbs because you have to move that weight repetitively. So my ankle, like generally white men's or people's bone structure, just the fact that the way their ankles are built means I will never be able to compete with a great Kenyan runner because we could do the same training and everything like that, but I'm just moving a significant more amount of weight through that critical part of your stride.
Mm.
But so my point is that there's Kenyans in Greater Kenya that have the same genetic factors as the Kenyans from this very small part of Kenya where all these runners come from that seem to do really well in these events. Now, and people have wondered why that is. And there's a theory going around, which is pretty fascinating, is in that small part of Kenya where the runners come from, they traditionally have, I don't know if they still have them, but they at least traditionally had in recent times, really brutal ceremonies and rituals for becoming a man.
Right.
So you know how, like, you may have seen TV and stuff, that in certain tribal cultures you have to, like, initiation and things you have to do.
Yeah. The classic, send them out. They got to go kill a wolf, come back.
That kind of thing. Well, in this part, they have these incredibly painful rituals, things where, for example, you have to put like a clay or a mud type mask on your face, and then they whip you and do all these other torturous things to you. And if you wince with pain and you crack the clay or the sort of mud on your face kind of cracks and breaks, it means that you've winced. Then you're not allowed to mate with any of the women in the tribe,
Right.
because you have failed the test to become a man, and only the men are allowed to be a part of this tribe. It's almost like a survival of the fittest type thing. But what's happened is, over generations of doing this, the men, it's selective breeding for men that feel pain less. Because if you have a low pain threshold, you're not allowed to breed with the women. You don't pass those genes on.
Yeah.
So it's effectively just selective breeding. But how this relates to running, they think someone's theory is that the hardest part about, if you talk to any ultra sort of long distance runner, is it's actually the legs. You can get all the conditioning in the legs; they're generally fine. It's actually a burning you start feeling in your lungs as you're trying to process the oxygen in huge volumes. So these guys towards the end, it's normally not the legs that give up. It's not the lactic acid in the legs. It's even a burning in the lungs, and it's a really painful. It can be a very painful experience. Apparently, I've never been conditioned enough to get to that point. And so they're saying that these particular Kenyan runners have the high pain threshold, and that they tolerate these painful experiences far better than the other athletes.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating, if it's true. Even if it's not true, it's incredibly vacuous. But it explains why all these Kenyan runners are coming out of this very narrow pocket of Kenya and not Kenya more broadly, because they still have the same genetics in this broader Kenya, but they don't have this they didn't have this history of this selective breeding.
It's fascinating. But obviously we were all doing that to a certain point up until a certain time. Humans in general.
And now we don't, do we?
Don't
you find that scary?
Not really.
Don't you find that weird? That there's no real selection anymore. We just keep everyone alive.
Yeah, that's what we do now.
Like, we go out of our way. We go out of our way to keep everyone alive as long as possible. They can be, we don't even allow, most places don't even allow euthanasia.
Yeah, and we're at the advent of digital heaven as well. So
digital heaven
probably never die either.
I'm just trying to find where Kipchoge's from. I assume he's from this particular area. Yeah, he is. It's in the west sort of corner.
Okay.
of the country. Yeah, but pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. Hey, I was watching I just started a new documentary series on Netflix before I jumped on this.
Oh yeah.
Looked pretty cool. It was called, I think it was called Aftershock. And
Yeah.
it's about an earthquake that happens on Everest.
It's a documentary.
Yeah, it's like a documentary series, like a multi-episode thing.
So was there an earthquake on Mount Everest?
Well, they're just setting. I've only watched 15 minutes, so there's setting up. There was a little headline that came up that said 2 days before the earthquake.
Oh, it's a spoiler warning.
And then there was yeah, exactly. It's called Aftershock, and you can tell it's of setting up for this kind of thing. And then then they're interviewing a woman, and she's going, blah blah blah. It's my first thing. I was, I wanted to do something to challenge myself. I've done some mountains. I got the experience. I tried to do the wildest thing I could think of. Turned up at Everest. She goes,
Yep.
The guide came into our hut thing and says, in 2 days you're going up from base camp to Camp 1 or something. So then my alarm bells started ringing, because I know there's going to be an earthquake in 2 days.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Like, kind of pieced it together.
They didn't piece it together.
They didn't piece it together. No, they didn't have the subtitles and the headings and things on there.
So what year, based off the footage, or they probably told you the year already? What year was this?
It was 2015, I'm pretty sure they said.
Interesting.
It looks really cool. It's fascinating as well, because do you know how you climb Everest? Like, broadly?
You have to, yeah. You do a big climb first, very big climb, and then that's base camp. And most people will just go to base camp and go, I made it to base camp. That's kind of its own Everest.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go up the bloody thing.
Yes, well, that's right. That is right. And just to elaborate on that slightly, just so you know, once you get to base camp, anyone can really do that. You can do that in over a number of days. You might step 3-4 days. I don't think it's incredibly grueling, but you don't have to do any acclimatization or anything. I don't know how high it is. It's probably around 5,000 meters or something. But the fascinating thing is to get to the summit at about 8,000 meters. It takes it's around 2 to 3 months, is my understanding.
What?
Yeah, because what you do is you go to base camp, about 5,000. You can't just go straight to 8,000 meters. Your body.
I can. I'll just go straight up.
You're different. You're different. You're special. And other people have to do this thing where you climb to Camp 1. This is after base camp. So base camp's
you got to
acclimatize
to it.
You spend a couple of days there, and you go back to base camp.
Oh, what?
Then you go to 1.
Okay.
Spend a day or two. Then you go to 2. Spend a couple of days. And then you go back to 1.
Okay, going back.
I don't know if you go back to base camp after that, but you're back at 1. And then let's just say, then you go to 2. Spend a couple of days there. Go to 3.
Okay.
Couple of days. Back to 2.
Back to 2? Yeah, okay.
Back to 1.
Whoa, no.
Maybe even back to base camp. You do this.
No.
You do this again and again. You do this all the time for months. Getting your body acclimatized to the altitude, because the altitude's brutal on your body. And then one day, or maybe a couple of times, you go up to 4, Camp 4. And Camp 4 is only a matter of like a couple, I don't know if it's, I don't know, maybe 500 meters of elevation from the top, maybe more, I don't know. But you're in a stone's throw, right? But above Camp 4, they call it the death zone.
Right.
Because you have to have oxygen with you. Your body can't survive at those altitudes, even with all the acclimatization you've done. So if the weather's right and all the ducks line up, if everything's looking good and everyone's feeling okay, you make a go. You make a go for the summit. And
through the death zone.
Yeah, people die there. Yeah. People die there all the time.
Yeah.
I think there's some frozen bodies you pass.
Yeah. Unfreeze them.
Get them off there.
Let's go.
Get them off there.
Let's go.
Yeah, but it's
Pretty
fascinating.
tragic.
It's fascinating that you have to go up and down and around. And
Yeah, it makes sense when you say it, but I'd rock up day one, base camp. They go, hey, how's it going? I say, I'm going up the thing. They go, cool, we're going to number one tomorrow. I go, great, let's go. Get to number one. They go, cool, let's go back to base camp. And I go, no. 1, 2 after that. You go 2.
it's twos after
And then
one.
they go back to base camp. I go to 2. They go to 2 the next day or whatever. I'm already at 3.
You just do things sequentially.
I do things sequentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, up the thing, death zone. And then I'll pass them on the way back, you know? I'll probably catch them going between 2 and 1 and go, guys, I've already been up the thing. So
It was beautiful up there.
yeah, it was nice. Enjoy your little month-long. Would you do that?
Climb Everest?
Would you? Is it on the list?
It's not at all, actually.
It's not on the list.
It's not on the list. It's actually quite dangerous. And
would you do base camp, BC run?
I'll do BC. I'll do BC
run?
because you can do BC in one go. Like I said, you just kind of go up and you're like, well, this is great. See you later. Do you know
a few days
cost?
at
The cost,
BC.
it's like $80K or something, $80 K to do Everest. It's so expensive. This is why there's a bit of a joke that only the privileged elite do Everest. Like, no,
Right.
there's no. You have to be like a well-fed, white man.
So how many people have climbed Everest? Millions, right?
Lots. I don't know, not millions. A couple hundred a season, I reckon. Maybe 1,000 a season for the last.
Because there's not one company doing this, right?
There's lots of companies, but I don't think you can't physically get that many people up the mountain. You can only do it during summer.
I don't know how old this website is, but it says as of December 2021, 6,000 people have reached the summit. Right?
I don't. Yeah, I thought it'd be more than that, but yeah, 6,014 people have climbed Mount Everest and reached the summit.
600. Yeah, so 6,000 odd times 80 grand. $480 million. That's good.
Oh man, I'm looking at the first bloke to climb Everest, Sir Edmund Percival Hillary,
Yeah.
New Zealand. What a dude!
He's the first guy to do it, right?
Yeah.
Wild. What was he thinking?
Yeah, well, geez, and surely lots of people before him didn't make it, right? You'd think.
So it was him and a Sherpa. So him and another guy.
Oh, he's on the New Zealand $5 note.
Or at least he was. Probably is, right?
He received the Queen Elizabeth II Coronation Medal in 1953. So she would have only 10 years in to a gig.
The note originally had, yeah, okay. Since 1992, it's Sir Edmund Hillary. Wow, there you go.
Have you seen? It's a documentary called The Rescue.
Is that about the cave thing?
Yeah, the football team, the sort of 14, 13-year-olds or something like that, or I think they were younger than that. I think they were closer to 10.
Brutal.
It's an amazing documentary.
Mm.
I didn't realize how harebrained an idea they had to get them out.
Yeah, it's wild.
I thought that I remember getting some updates. Some certain news updates you can't really avoid. They think, the news thinks you're really interested.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, oh yeah, some guys are stuck in a cave. Like, we'll drill them out. No big deal. Like we'll we know they're there. Right, that we'll get some food down to them. We'll get them out eventually. No big deal.
So you would have just rocked up and said, "Why aren't we moving all the earth away so we can get to the
Yeah,
bottom of the
yeah.
cave where the kids are?"
Yeah, well, we know where. It's not like there's no mystery. They're like, yeah, they're all alive. They're just under the ground still. I'm like, well, they'll be fine.
What was the threat? Was this
They
thing on a
verged.
time limit?
Yes, it certainly was. The
Okay.
oxygen in their little chamber
Mm-hmm.
was very low. So apparently, you need an oxygen level above something like 16 or 17% for your to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's normally around, was it 23? Something like that. 21? I don't know. Something like that. Low 20s. It was like on the precipice of survival in terms of when they got them out.
So it wasn't like there was water, because I know that they had divers go through water. The cave was filled with water.
Yeah, but it was a huge cave structure, like massively long. It was kilometers and kilometers. The logistics of this rescue were mind-numbing. They didn't just have divers; they lost like Navy SEALs
Yeah, right.
in the rescue attempt. Like that's the irony. All the kids survived. I think they lost one or two. I can't remember if they were Navy SEAls or I think they were. I think they were. They were like highly trained divers in any respect. And they had to do all these like oxygen dumps along the way. So let's say you have huge teams of divers, like huge teams. Only the most elite ones are going to get to the. It's almost like base camp of Everest, right? They all congregate at base camp, and then they all go to drop point one, and 3/4 of them drop, or like, I'm trying to think of numbers, like a third of them drop. All their job is to drop tanks at camp one, and then some of them will keep some of them, like, I don't know how it works, but they're dropping tanks so the others will have enough air to continue to take tanks up the line. Because it's like, I think it was like 8 kilometers or something crazy. It was a long way.
Yeah, right.
And it was really tough sort of conditions. But anyway, I don't want to give anything. I've given enough. I've given enough spoilers as it is. But
yeah,
what the final, if I'm going to just really spoil it, of the like 14 kids, I don't know how they all survived because none of them can swim. So you've got all these highly trained divers that are struggling, even dying, with the conditions to get them out of this. This tunnel's not like intended to be dove. And
I see what you're getting at. They got them out.
They swum up to them, and they realize, how are we going to get these kids out that can't swim? So this is the harebrained idea. They drugged them. They knocked them out. They smashed a mask on them and a tank, and then they had to ragdoll them the whole way out, and they had to give them injections along the way to keep them under. And they're divers; they're not medical people.
But the kids aren't ready to use a dive mask and all the rest of it,
and they'll panic in the situation.
Yeah, that's so scary.
It's so scary. Did they ask the kids? I think they gave the parents a heads up.
A bit of I don't know. Yeah, do you do a briefing? Hey guys, this bit's rough.
Got some bad news. I've got some good news.
What's that over there?
The good news is your kids are going to be high as balls.
Yeah.
The bad news is they'll be
traumatized forever.
Yeah. Oh man, I suppose they probably don't remember it, but it was just such a wild operation. I highly recommend that doc.
I would say they definitely remember it. Probably not the diving bit though.
Oh, they remember being stuck there, probably hungry as fuck for days and days.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic. I just never want to be, I never want to be on TV in a documentary.
It's not a very perfect beer for whatever happens moment. You know?
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah. I mean, if you swum up from the depths, right? If the 14 kids are all sitting there haven't eaten in who long, you swim up and then this beer rises out of the water and you say, "Here you go, buddy. This is the perfect beer for whatever happens." They're not
It's
going to be.
probably
They're going to be like, "Man, just give me some crackers."
no. We need you to drink this because it's got the drugs required for you to go on this magical journey we're about to go on.
We're going to liquor you up.
No, because we already expanded on that last week. It's the perfect beer for whatever may or may not happen.
Past, present, future.
Mm.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about bees.
It's a problem.
What's the problem?
We need them.
Yeah, I love bees.
But you've been thinking about them again.
Yeah, I've been thinking about them. I've actually noted them down as something that I'd like to know more about. But I just thought I'd come in. I'll just come in cold turkey. I think that's the best way of doing it. And maybe between us, we can figure out bee philosophy, anatomy, communication styles, things like that.
Yeah, easily.
Easily.
I know a little bit.
Did you say Beasley?
No, I said easily, but you said Beasley. I'm down with it. When the queen bee fucks off with half the gang, they will form a new queen. Get a new one.
Look, I know. I think I know some stuff about bees that I think you'll find fascinating, and then we can fact check it. There's always a good way to go.
We don't need to fact check it.
We don't need to fact check it. What bees communicate with dancing or something like that? So
they got a bit of jigs.
They got jigs, and they have movements like they do a dance. So when one bee comes back to the hive, and he found a sexy flower that with some, he liked it, he will communicate with the other bees, indicating distance, direction, other important information.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No, but when you say it, it does make sense because you very rarely see one bee munching on a flower.
Yeah,
there's a few around. He's got mates. How did they all know where this was?
Yeah, they're chatting.
Well, they did a dance earlier, did his jig, and said, "Let's go." And they went down to the flower. Do they don't consume any of this, right?
Don't they?
I don't know. What do they eat?
The pollen? They eat the pollen.
Do they eat the pollen, or are they just gathering it?
Oh, I think they have a little nibble if they're
nibbling, are they?
I think they nibble some, one for me, one for you.
Yep.
Or is it something they eat and then secrete? They must process it somehow, because otherwise it'd just be like dry pollen.
What's the queen bee up to? What is she up to?
To make a queen bee.
No. But what does she do?
She's making the rest of the bees.
She's just making bees.
She's making bees.
She doesn't produce the hive.
Do you know what the freakiest thing is? She doesn't produce the hive.
They build the hive.
The worker bees have the same DNA as the queen bee.
Yeah, because they can change a worker bee into a queen
by feeding her royal jelly.
Yeah. Royal jelly.
Royal jelly. So this special stuff. I don't know where they get it from, but they pick one, presumably. They pick one.
Yes.
And they say, you will be transformed from worker bee into queen bee.
Queen Elizabeth.
With this royal jelly.
Yep, royal jelly time.
Do you reckon Queen Elizabeth had to have any royal jelly?
I think you could count the ceremony where they give you the scepter, the holy hand grenade, and the crown as a bit of a royal jelly moment.
It's our royal jelly. So what that transforms her into the queen.
Maybe at least in mind and spirit.
But then she only gave off 2 worker bees. Or 3 worker bees. How many children does she have? 2.
I think all of England are like all of the United Kingdom are her children.
In a way.
They're not
Like,
Prince Charles
metaphorically,
ain't
she's not that much.
King Charles ain't a worker bee for the Queen.
Could you imagine if the Queen was the only one, like she was the only one pumping out UK residents?
Yeah, selective breeding.
So, but do you how many babies are born there a day? Like, she'd have to be having 100 babies a day.
Yeah.
That
you're right.
that is a lot. There's
It's
a lot
to
of
put
babies.
on one old lady who's dead.
I understand most women struggle to do one a year later. So if you do 100 in a day,
yeah,
that's probably not even enough, to tell the truth. But bees do heaps of cool stuff. Do you know? So they feed the jelly. Do you know how they neck a queen?
How they what?
Neck her. So
Neck
if
her?
she isn't producing enough, if she's not doing her job, she's not. She doesn't necessarily rule the roost, right? She's the queen, but she's got
people
important
power,
duties. Yeah. So when
we've got heaps of royal jelly, we can just make another one.
Yes, and we will if we have to.
Yeah. So what do they do?
They put her in a death bowl. It's called something.
Oh, what?
A death bowl. It's called something special. And they all rub up against her. All the bees get in her grill. She's bigger, but
she's big.
They make a ball of bees, and there's a special word for it. I don't know what it is. And they heat her up, and she dies of exhaustion.
So it's like strangulation. Yeah. It's like bee strangulation.
Yeah, they get her in the bee bowl.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, bees are ruthless.
So if you're not producing enough bees, because that's what the queen's job is, they put you in the bee bowl and they heat you up until you're cooking.
It's brutal.
It is brutal. And then they're all chatting, but who's running the show is my question. Who's the deep state
the usurper?
Who's the deep state of the bees?
Right. The one meddling.
Yeah, who's the one that always is in power, but is
never the queen.
Never the queen. Yeah, because you don't want to be bee-bowled.
Yeah, wow. Do all queens just get bee-bowled eventually, or what?
I think so. I don't think they ever.
Would you have queens just really old, just plopping out more bees?
No, eventually you're not.
Bee lady.
Eventually,
I think you get bee-bowled.
Yeah, bee-bowled. I think.
And rolled
because we eventually just unproductive, and they realize they instead of having like an election or whatever, because you don't have elections for a queen. She's got to go.
Yeah.
You don't just retire her. What did you hear? Speaking of the queen, so only more recently I hear that they released her cause of death just being of natural causes.
That's not a thing.
What? Are you saying there's always a cause?
Yeah, I didn't think they could write natural causes on death certificates.
Can't they?
No.
Because there's something, right? Because
it's an organ failure, or it's yeah. You don't just. It was completely natural. She passed like the wind.
Okay, I'll just see, because I was surprised that they didn't say that earlier. Also,
maybe
she died of old age, in inverted commas.
Old age?
According to
she
her
was old.
Official death. Yeah, she was old before that, before she died. She was of old age.
She was living of old age.
Yeah, she was living and of old age.
She didn't die of it yesterday.
So yeah, old age according to her official death certificate, which did not note any contributing factors.
Why?
But she died. It was like overnight she died of old age. Like one day she was alive with old age.
No, she was 96 years young, and then the next day, old age and dead.
96 years dead. But we're all going to be 96 years and dead, or less, or more.
Yeah, but maybe if you don't, is
I'll
be dead you could die of old age. This is so weird.
I can't believe in this day and age there are not conspiracies about this.
What do you mean?
Well, my point, everything gets conspiratized. Everything.
Correct.
Everything. Doesn't matter what. And this one, right? We've got, they didn't say what it was for like, this was on the 29th of September, this says. Anyway, when did she die? When she died, like weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for a while, so overnight she dies of old age, right?
Sure.
Overnight. And no freak is coming up with some conspiracy.
I think the old age is the best angle so far because, it's a 96-year-old lady.
I'm not even saying there is anything to it. And
the thing about it is that it's because it's not a surprising story that it doesn't lend itself to the conspiracy theorists, right? Because
okay, I'm going to put out a conspiracy because they always are just baseless. Well, often, most time baseless.
Go with that. Let's go.
No, I can't. I think I need a bit more. I need to put a bit more thought into it. I can't just like make up a conspiracy.
No, about the Queen?
Yeah. I'm going to say that the guy who snuck in, what's his name? The intruder. Michael Fannigan or whatever his name is.
Right.
Mr. Fanny, who broke in there twice. He snuck back in.
Oh.
Put some royal jelly in a tea. She's full of royal jelly. She's had plenty of that. Can't handle any more.
Oh, you think that he rolled her? B-rolled her?
Well, obviously, because he was seen putting a flower on her grave or whatever, or he said some stuff to the media about it later, right? So he's in it up to his eyeballs.
He said that he wished her well or something.
Yeah, you can't do that. So
and then he went,
it's a dead giveaway. He's been stalking her for years, for decades even. He's been breaking in, chatting to her, drinking her wine, eating cheese, breaking ashtrays. Remember all this? So he's done all this.
Yeah, I remember the attempted glassing.
He's basically stalking her. He's got all the motive and all the... Where was he on that night?
He was there. Well, okay. Yeah, we'll find out where he was at. Right? Would you be happy if we found out where he was at on the night in question?
All I'm saying is that there's a big bloody case to be answered by him. And and very conveniently, everyone's saying old age when he had so much to gain from her falling off the perch as well. So this is where I'm going.
What did he have to gain?
The notoriety of being the only man to have successfully broken into Her Majesty's room twice.
So he killed her for it.
Yeah, to make sure his one
name is cemented in legacy.
Yeah. So,
I'm just teasing this theory out of you because
it could be more complicated than that. There could be more power structures involved and other things, but that's just I just kept it more basic for we're on a bit of under some time pressure. So
no, it's either that or they're just hiding her real cause of death because it wasn't glamorous, perhaps.
It's probably COVID.
No, they would have said that. They would have been like, COVID got it.
Instead, they said nothing got her.
Old age. No, she just had a finite number of cells in her body. Ran out.
Which one was it that tipped her over the edge, do you think? Do you reckon it was
some scumbag cell, if you ask me. Some fucking no good, not doing anything chumpo cell, right? That's what's happening here.
It was doing some critical function. It was like processing things in the liver or something, and then or they needed 10 of these guys to do the job, and then
And he just wanted to stay in the liver.
yeah, and one of them was just like, "Nah, I'm done, guys. I'm done." And then can we replace Fred? He doesn't want to do it anymore. No, we don't have any resources.
So that's the last one.
Don't have any more resources. Just you're all gonna have to split the work between the 9 of you.
Useless. Good stuff, man. We'll be back next week.
You better believe it.
Hit us on the email.
If no one does, I'm going to send an email.
All right. Yeah. Send us an email.
Tell your mates.
I don't even know if it works.
To like and subscribe. The bell. If you're actually.
Do we bell?
If you're actually listening to this.
Still.
Put something in the comment. If one person, if you listen, if you get to here, I want to know. I don't think anyone will. This is my challenge. This is my challenge to you. Put in a comment and say, I was here, 2022. Or whatever year it is.
We'll see you next week.